It released in October of 2023, and now in March of 2025, Alan Wake 2 has finally started to turn a profit as the Sweet Baby Inc. infected game. And this was one of the early red flags for people. Okay, well, they have consulted and they had worked on several projects before this. Alan Wake 2 was one of those games that people were very much looking forward to, and then when they got it in their hands, they went, what the hell is this? This is not what I signed up for. Why are we playing as a race-swapped character, and why is she just patting herself on the back? Where's Alan? Why aren't we playing as Alan? And why am I continuing to play this? Because it's just absolute cancer. But it was a game that legitimately came and went, but it had an astronomically high budget, and when all of those dots needed to be connected, it all centered around one little company as to why the game was the way that it was, and that was, of course, Sweet Baby Inc. It ruined sales, but Remedy is still operating in the red. Oh, so, okay, the game has started to turn a profit, but Remedy themselves, yeah, they're on death's door. Big shock. Alan Wake 2, one of Sweet Baby Inc.'s infamous gaming victims, has finally started turning a profit more than a year after launch. Yeah, like a year and change. Didn't it come out at the tail end of 2023, or am I just misremembering that? No, that's correct. However, its developer, Remedy, a continued SBI partner, yeah, because they're going down with the ship on this one. I think we talked about that previously, how they're just not giving up. They're diehards in this case, is still operating in the red. The entire controversy of Alan Wake 2 had multiple facets. First and main was that Remedy Entertainment hired Sweet Baby Inc. to develop the narrative for the game. Yeah, when they had laid the groundwork of an exceptionally compelling narrative prior to that, okay, that spanned across multiple games, the original game, an expansion on the original, and then Control followed that up, which was kind of a side story set in the Alan Wake universe. And then, of course, Alan Wake 2, everybody was primed for that after years and years of being a venerated cult classic. And then what happened? Sweet Baby Inc. is best known for its negative impact on the video game industry. The consultancy company claims to work with developers to make games more inclusive. In truth, they insert agendas into games that they work on. God of War, Ragnarok, kind of, okay, like they inserted one insufferable character. That's going to end up being a plague on Atreus' story, but as for the franchise, I mean, where are those complaints for, the free DLC for Ragnarok? Is anybody talking about SBI's influence on Valhalla? I'll talk about it here over the weekend, but God of War Ragnarok is probably the most unfairly maligned game that I can think of for people that have an idea of what the game's about, how it's just Kratos is crying. I miss the old games where we have, QTEs about sex, where it's like, okay, cool, the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok are just far superior in every single metric, even though, I like the original God of War trilogy. Ascension is ass, and I didn't play any of the PSP games. But no, the Kratos is soy now because that's what people say on the internet, so we're just going to go ahead and run with that. And Spider-Man 2, which is a marked step down from the original because, oh great, here comes Miles Morales, who has always been a diversity Spider-Man. And you can play as his deaf girlfriend and spray paint stuff in my Spider-Man game. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I didn't know about that one. And Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League are a few good examples. And yeah, I can talk at length about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, as I've seen everything that game has to offer, and holy shit, man, is that a mess. That exposes Sweet Baby Inc. as the narrative juggernauts they present themselves as. Holy shit, man, like that has some of the worst character writing that you're likely to ever see. But anyways, Alan Wake 2 is, yes, on that same list. Yeah, one of the faces on the Sweet Baby Inc. Mount Rushmore for sure. Sweet Baby Inc.'s influence dissuaded gamers from purchasing the sequel's title, resulting in low profits for Remedy Entertainment. With sales down, the studio resorted to using bots to promote the game. That didn't work for them either. Remedy's financial statement at the time revealed that the company had not regained any profits following the game's release. And yeah, even somebody high up at Remedy, because we talked about this also, he came out and painted a very bleak picture about the game, but he also stuck to his guns about, maintaining relationships with SBI types. So it's like, well, hey, man, think of it like a Batman situation where it's like, I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to stop you from dying. Ra's al Ghul style in Batman Begins. Now, more than a year later, it seems that Remedy is finally recouping some of those losses. All right. According to Remedy's recent financial statement for the end of 2024, the game has finally begun to accrue royalties for the company. Great. It has revealed that more than 2 million copies of Alan Wake sold by the end of the fourth quarter. Yeah, so a game that released in 2023 finally got to a point where it can start paying off royalties, and moving 2 million copies after how many different sales? Bruh, come on. Their projections for 2025 are for revenue and operating profits to increase in the previous year and operating profit to be positive. How? In the fourth quarter of 2024, revenue increased 13.1% from a year ago to 11.7 million euros. The development fees increased, driven by higher development fees for Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake and Control 2, which, yeah, oh boy. Royalties decreased from a comparison period. By the end of 2024, Alan Wake 2 had recouped its development fees. Oh, okay, and marketing investments. So it hasn't turned a profit, but it recouped its development fees. So is this the same way that like Disney likes to spin the whole, oh, Captain Black Falcon America Man, yeah, it was totally a success because it only had a budget of $180 million, and within its first week it made $190 million at the box office. It recouped its production budget, so it's totally fine. Is it some of that funny math? In the fourth quarter, the operating profit was, minus 1.4 million euros, improving by 11.4 million. From the comparison period in which we had a $7.2 million impairment loss from codename Vanguard. So you're working on a project that caused you to run a 7.2 million euro deficit? Interesting. In layman's terms, Remedy's revenue increased 13.1% from quarter 4 2024, reaching 11.7 million euros, largely due to the development fees of Max Payne 1 and 2, yes, Control, blah, blah, blah. We went through all of that. In other words, Remedy is almost profitable. However, they might not be for much longer. Enter Kim Belair, she, her, of course. Report claims that Remedy Entertainment is still allied with Sweet Baby Inc. Yeah, we've talked about that before, and will continue to work with them on upcoming games. That, of course, doesn't preclude Sweet Baby Inc. from ruining other things, like everything associated with Wings Interactive, which we also recently touched on, I think, at the beginning of the week. And it's funny, too, because I was going to try to pull up the Steam page, but they were also pimping, a bunch of female-developed games, and it was all sponsored by Wings Interactive. I find that very interesting, okay? Are there this supposed indie development collective that does very little to actually fund indie games, but there's a reason that I couldn't find that little splash art on Steam. It's mostly because, Wings Interactive funding controversies were exposed as company wipes its online presence. Yeah, because last time we talked about them, they were exposed and then they ended up going dark on social media, but apparently now they're just going dark online, which is interesting. You're supposed to be this promotional outlet for a marginalized game developers, but now you're scared of promoting yourself? What's happened? What happened? The controversy surrounding Wings Interactive, an alleged indie game funding group linked to Sweet Baby Inc. and Landfall Games, has taken a new turn. In a recent report, Gothic Therapy, hosted by Master of the TDS and Writing Raven, revealed a crucial admission from Wings Interactive own co-founder confirming financial backing from Landfall Games. Shortly after these revelations, Wings Interactive has seemingly gone into full damage control, deleting accounts, scrubbing records, and refusing to answer questions. For months, Gothic Therapy has been investigating Wings Interactive's true funding sources, uncovering deep connections that contradict the company's claim of being an independent indie game fund. Wings Interactive has registered under a different name. Vanguard Interactive AB shared the address with Landfall Games, in Sweden. Landfall Games co-founder Peter Henriksen was also vice CEO at Wings Interactive, despite not publicly listing his role. Sweet Baby Inc.'s CEO Kim Belair previously sat on Wings Interactive's selection board, raising questions about the potential narrative influence in indie gaming, and Riot Games contributed $1 million to Wings back in 2021, suggesting a much larger network of industry backing. In their latest report, Gothic Therapy uncovered an even bigger revelation, a direct admission from Audrey Laprince, the co-founder of Wings Interactive, confirming the Landfall Games backrolled Wings Interactive in its early days. In her words, this is how I thought about Wings, and I'm gonna go and get the money and give it directly to the women to make games, and just cut everything else, just focus on that. And I was trying to make it work with the women in games in France, talking to the French banks and stuff, and that didn't go very well. Well, you're dealing with Frenchmen, well, French women in this case. My apologies. And at the same time, Peter from Landfall Studios here in Sweden was trying to do the same thing. And then we kept bumping into each other, and it's like, it's not working. And then to do it together, and then it started. I got the first investment from Landfall Games, and then Riot just also gave us $1 million to invest in different projects like a few weeks ago or months ago. This contradicts prior claims that Wings was an independent fund and suggests that Landfall Games may have used Wings Interactive to discreetly fund and control indie games while maintaining the illusion of separation. So yeah, everything that Sweet Baby Inc. touches just so happens to either be a sham, either seems to be a grift, or even just an outright lie. Big shock on that one. Whenever you get in bed with woke idiots prioritizing identity politics over quality, yeah, this is what you end up getting. Sucks to suck, I guess, especially for people looking forward to Alan Wake Part 2, but I think those wounds have at least begun to heal. It'd be a shame if you're looking forward to Control 2, because I wouldn't imagine that that's going to be any good, or any good for any of the other games that are affiliated with Sweet Baby Inc. at this point in time, because much like Wings Interactive, they have also scrubbed their affiliation, so who knows what's going to come out in the near future, but we know how long these development cycles go. We know how deeply entrenched SBI and their other consultancy brethren, or sisterhood rather, I think that's a more appropriate description. We know how deeply entrenched they have been in the industry, so while certain aspects of entertainment are starting to turn things around slowly, gaming's going to take a little while longer, so there's a lot of cringe on the horizon, not a lot of hope out of the West, but hey, a little silver lining to this, at least the East is still knocking it out the park. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. One should follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.